everybody. Thank you. Thank you. I'm very excited to be here doing comedy for you guys. When I'm not doing comedy, I have a day job. I'm the mascot for the gentrification of Brooklyn. I got the look right. I look like my parents abandoned me in the woods so I could be raised by a network of podcasts. That's the vibe. I know. It's on purpose. It's on purpose. No, I actually work with kids. I'm in the child industry. I like it. I like working with kids. You can laugh. It's funny. I agree. Let's see. I like working with children, though, because my life, like I said, it's going very well, but only when compared to the life of a child. You know, like I may not be some great man, but I am a good boy. I used to be a tutor, and now I'm a teacher. And if you want to know the difference between those two jobs, is a tutor usually works privately with a student one-on-one, and a teacher usually thinks that they're better than you. That's been my experience from it. But it's fun, but there's been a lot to get used to, you know. Like now I'm around teachers all day. I have to talk to them like coworkers, and it can be very confusing. You know, I actually thought recently that one of my coworkers was hitting on me. I showed my girlfriend. I was like, "Look, Miss Chan sent me this email. The subject line is just, ooh." She was like, "Jackson, that stands for out of office." I said, "Ooh. How do you unsend an email? Can we unattach a picture? Is that possible? How does this work?" There's a lot to get used to, though. It's tough because teaching one student is very different than teaching a whole big group of students at once, right? It's like teaching one student, you can really cater the lesson to that student. Like I used to work with a lot of kids from like pretty rich, fancy New York families, so I could make sure the things I talked about, made sense to them. I'd say something like, "Okay, chrysanthemum," they always have those dumb names. "Okay, eucalyptus," something that sounds like a type of shampoo, Let's say, "Okay, dative control." In geometry, when we use the word line, we actually mean a series of points that goes on infinitely in both directions without ever stopping. So technically, last night you were doing line segments of cocaine. We gotta connect. But with the whole class of kids, it's different. You can't always get through to them, and I always try to make sure, like, if something goes wrong, that I take that as an opportunity to try to reinforce a different lesson. Like the other day, I was like, "All right, class, we're gonna go over our quiz from yesterday's lesson on square roots." Now, question number 1 was, please provide an example of a perfect square. And every single one of you wrote Mr. Fisher. That was consistent, but very hurtful. Except for you, Jaden, you actually wrote Mr. Fisher's Wonder Bread ass. Now let's think for a moment, class. Is Mr. Fisher's ass really made of Wonder Bread? No, right? So what was Jaden using? A metaphor. Jaden made Mr. Fisher cry using a metaphor. Another example would be Mr. Fisher's spirit is broken.